The thought of a minecart in Minecraft seems incredibly fun. You can make your own roller coasters, have loop-de-loops, and go a million miles an hour. But this is what we actually have. Minecarts were added over 16 years ago, but in that time, Mojang has barely even touched them, leaving them slow, outdated, and boring. So in this video, I'm gonna fix them by coming up with 5 major additions that will all be combined into one huge minecart roller coaster update. Understanding why minecarts are so neglected comes down to what minecarts really are to the Minecraft community. They are a fun mechanic and a transportation method, but over the past few years, have you honestly seen anyone doing either of those things? No, you probably haven't, for 2 reasons. The first one being that they've been overshadowed as a transportation method for over a decade. See, in 2016, the 1.9 combat update added the Elytra, which is currently the most efficient transportation method. They're easy to get for experienced players, they go extremely fast, and they straight up skip difficult terrain just by flying around it. Now, the Elytra being overpowered is a completely separate issue, because what I want to do is not actually to nerf the Elytra, it's actually to boost minecarts. Think about it. If people had just one reason to use minecarts instead of Elytras, it would bring this nearly forgotten feature back into the spotlight. In terms of transportation, the Elytra covers basically everything, which is why it's so popular. But there are a few weaknesses, namely that you have to sacrifice a chestplate to use them, they're easy to get into deadly crashes, and wait, that's all? Yeah, there's really no other disadvantages to using the Elytra, so it'll be kinda hard to boost minecarts enough to make them more popular than the Elytra in some cases. Now yes, we could make it so that minecarts go a million kilometers an hour and don't need rails, but that really just defeats the purpose, unless you're using commands. What makes minecarts so cool is that you build tracks for them to go on, then by riding them, you witness your own creation. Kinda like setting up a domino course, then watching them fall into place. First off, we need to solve the inconveniences of minecarts, and I got 3 right off the bat. The first one being verticality. You see, currently you are only able to build rails that go horizontal and diagonal, but this system completely lacks vertical railing. Now I know that that's not the most realistic thing, especially since it's pretty complicated with gravity and may cause some people to puke, but since when has Minecraft been realistic? Legit, there are only like 10 blocks affected by gravity in this game, so ignoring the unrealistic gravity, it would be extremely useful and fun to build vertical minecart sections, and the controls would be super simple. If you place it while looking at the top of a block, it's horizontal, and when placing it at the side of a block, it's vertical. And if they have a customizable speed, you could probably even make them go faster than bubble columns, which is already one of the fastest and most popular vertical transportation methods. And you know what's even better than vertical railing? Upside down railing. This would work exactly how you would expect. You could just place rails on the underside of any full block, and they just go there, because no one cares about gravity. Thing is, though, some people might get motion sick by riding this way and having this perspective. So let's have it be a setting in accessibility settings that no matter which minecart rotation you're in, your perspective will always be right side up like this. It's actually already kind of a feature because there's also a setting in the current game for experimental minecarts that locks your perspective to the rotations of a minecart. But vertical and upside down railing is basically the only thing I can really think of for improving minecart transportation. If you have any other ideas, let me know in the comment section. Alright, so let's move to another highly requested feature that Mojang has ghosted for years: trains. But wait a sec, because I'm not talking about slow trains, I'm talking about trains that go faster than the Elytra, like bullet trains. If you didn't know, bullet trains are a real thing that can go up to 600 kilometers an hour. That is over 160 meters per second, or in this case, 160 blocks per second. They're allegedly named bullet trains because they go as fast as a bullet bill. Now, of course, that would be a little overpowered because Elytras can only go like 40 blocks per second, so let's limit these trains to a measly 60 to 100 blocks per second. But isn't that a little too overpowered? Faster than the Elytra is pretty freaking fast. Listen, Oit, the Elytra is already seriously OP, partly because you don't even need to set up builds for it. You just put it on, boost yourself, and fly. But for trains, in order to earn that max speed, you gotta build every block of the railing that you wanna go past. You'd also only have to build it once. Though Minecraft hasn't really been known for making rideable entities that are bigger than an entire block, so let's make said train no more than 3 blocks tall and 3 blocks wide. But in order to even set up the thing, you'd have to build one train station on either side of the railing. Otherwise, it would just get to the end and either lose all of its speed or just fly right off. You would additionally have to fuel the train, which could give a new use to furnace minecarts. Those things haven't been used by pretty much any players, but there is a slight problem: lag. Having tens, possibly hundreds of active chunks loading these railings at all times can probably lag out your world or your server. So how about this? As soon as the train is launched, the chunks are immediately loaded one after another another smoothly, and the train is almost instantly driven. This would function similarly to an Ender Pearl stasis chamber. Pretty much the only difference is that stasis chambers are largely unintended by Mojang, but if Mojang intentionally adds these to a new game drop, then the train could be a staple in modern Minecraft transportation, and would make for a lot of interesting moments, especially on PvP servers. You could even build them in the Nether to go 8 times faster. That's if they ever get added though, because this idea probably won't get past the video stage. Also, don't get the idea that this would utilize separate carts. No. This would simply be a single train piece that would function all by itself. No other storage carts included. Okay, so nice, we got the train thing down. But we still have the other half of the minecart situation that we forgot about. Roller coasters. Yeah, this entire hypothetical update is called the roller coaster update. So we need to make roller coasters extremely fun, not only to ride, but also to build. We've already got the vertical railings down, so let's add some other stuff, like loop-de-loops. Obviously not a loop like a circle, because circles are forbidden in Minecraft. I mean a loop-de-loop that's square. These could be customizable like nether portals. There would have to be a minimum size, which would probably be 3x3, and a maximum size, which would probably be 20x20. You could then build them out of any full block, then use horizontal, diagonal, vertical, and upside down rails to build the working loop. But loop-de-loops aren't all I got, because I kinda wanna introduce a new railing block separate from the regular rails, powered rails, detector rails, and activator rails. Enter escalator rails. These are only for roller coasters. If you've ever been to a ride at a place like Disney World, you would recognize these train tracks that would slowly pull you up before dropping you down real fast. This feels great in real life, and pretty fun, which is why it's featured in a lot of theme parks. Now what if we replicate that, but in Minecraft? This would function basically like powered rails, just slower and more consistent. Also, they would make that clicking sound every half second to really give that escalator-y feel. These would be very useless compared to rails and powered rails because they're incredibly inefficient in terms of transportation, but hey, it would be fun. Minecraft already has features that are purely for fun, such as jukeboxes and riding pigs. Now we look at our final addition for this roller coaster update, connected minecarts. Okay, I know that you can technically do this in the game right now, but pretty much no one uses it or knows how it works. So let's introduce a new item, the minecart connector. Crafted from 2 iron ingots and a nugget, the minecart connector serves as a physical indicator that 2 or more minecarts are connected in a line. The limit would probably be something like 50, and it would work by having the furthest minecart on either side be the driver. And if they're trying to go in different directions at the same time, none will move. This would also be useful for transportation because it transports multiple people and maybe even multiple mobs at once at the exact same time in the exact same way. And you could use it to prank your friends. Another mini addition would be to have cursive binding minecarts, where if you get in, you can't get out unless the minecart gets destroyed. This is actually how they functioned when they were first added, and a prank like that would be kinda cool. So in this hypothetical roller coaster update, we've added vertical rails, upside down rails, trains, loop-de-loops, escalator rails, and finally the minecart connector. The release date is August 12, 2036, and you're welcome Mojang for the idea. Anyway, thanks for watching this URT Minecraft video, Romans 8:28, and until next time, undefeatable army. Dude, I just made a video about minecarts without even mentioning Canman 18. Wait a minute.